Hello and welcome to BBC Radio 2 in concert here at the gorgeous Radio Theatre for another great night ahead of us. And this is the man who'll be making the music tonight from 8 o'clock on Radio 2, and it's Paul Weller. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Yeah.
Nice to have you here. How does it feel being back here?
Nice, yeah, really good, yeah. No seats as well.
Yeah. Were there seats last time you played?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, great, good sound as well.
Yeah, that's a wonderful, wonderful building. So I have a stack of questions here which we're going to power on through, if you're ready for this. Yep. It's a bit like kind of Paul Weller Mastermind, like your specialist subject is yourself, so you should be okay. Fergal on email says, I think the new single is one of your best. How do you feel the new album rates in terms of your previous work? Obviously you love it the most because it's your newest baby.
Yeah, well, I don't know, it's hard to tell those things. Time decides those things for me. I'd have to have, you know, a couple of years away from it. But it certainly feels, when we were working on it, it certainly felt like it was special, yeah, I think.
So the instinct is there?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And so I guess you put it out to the public and then you just have to wait and see. Because sometimes you must make an album that you think is, I presume every album you think is absolutely fantastic. And then when it doesn't...
Not every album, no.
Okay. But which is your worst album?
There's too many to mention for me. I'm very critical of my work.
Are you?
Yeah. And I probably for that reason alone, I don't go back and listen to it much. Because often I get disappointed. So I sooner just concentrate on what I'm doing at the time. But where it is in my... my canon.
Your vast back catalogue,
yeah. I don't know really. It's hard to tell, you know, I could be able to tell you that in 2 years' time or something.
Okay, so we'll get back to you on that one. Jim, the singer-songwriter on email says, can you elaborate on the writing process for Satin Span? Is modern musical technology a useful tool in regards to your creativity?
Well, it was on this particular record because we did most of the arrangements, a lot of the arrangements, and loads of edits and on Pro Tools. Stuff you probably couldn't do on tape, I don't think. So yeah, it was a big part of it because some songs we were arranged as we went along, and we'd leave gaps for some bits and come back to them, and we kind of pieced some, not every song, but a lot of songs we pieced together. So it was kind of using the best of technology, really.
Okay, Steve on email, is it 150? Studio 150?
Yeah.
Right, was a covers album with a quite unexpected but interesting selection of tracks.
Yeah.
Would you do another covers album in the future? You gave a wry smile there. Are you fond of that album?
Well, I haven't heard it since I've made it, so I don't know. But it was good fun making it. I remember that because we'd made it in Amsterdam, and every night was party night. And but I can't remember it. But would I do yeah, I would like to do another one, yeah. I mean, on that particular record, I tried to pick songs that I wasn't particularly familiar with, generally.
So there was some Burt Bacharach, there's a Burt Bacharach?
Burt Bacharach one,
Noel
yeah.
Gallagher one, you did an old track?
Yeah.
Alain Toussaint?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I was just trying to pick songs that I wasn't that familiar with, and I felt I had a bit more artistic licence. But I would like to do an album maybe of my favourite tunes, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I'm feeling like a Rod Stewart kind of country.
I know,
book
it just went through my head then when you said that then. But
what would you do? What kind of songs then? What would you
I don't know.
What do you listen to at home when you're kicking back in the evening? Everyone's out and you can just play what you like on the record player.
Well, I kind of play a bit of everything really. Old tunes, old soul tunes, and some new stuff, and yeah, real mixture.
Do you put playlists together? Are you big on technology at home as well?
I can't do that. I wouldn't know how to do it. I'd love to be able to do that, but I don't know how you do that. I haven't quite mastered that one yet.
Have you got a computer at home?
No. Well, yeah, my wife's got one, yeah.
But you don't go near it?
No, I don't go near it, no. She does it all for me, it's fine.
You don't need that. Do you do emails?
What?
Do you do emails?
No.
Do you text?
I can text, yeah.
Okay, do you tweet?
No.
No. Okay, next question. Ashley, who did text? I'm 26 years old and I've been a huge fan of your music since I was little. Have you seen a big rise of the younger generation following your music?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. In the last few years, yeah, I don't know what causes that. I'm not sure whether it's recent records or... But yeah, loads more, yeah. I mean, it's real... Our audience now is really from like sort of teens, maybe late teens, to like my age and beyond, or, you know, and all the bits in between, really. And it's pretty amazing, I think. And, you know, it just keeps it all relevant, you know, and contemporary, really.
Yeah, and that must be exciting for you to feel like you're having an effect on a younger generation, maybe influencing and inspiring their music.
Oh, one would hope, obviously, yeah.
When we chatted briefly on the phone, and you were saying how great it is to still have a career at this age and to have your, you know, to have something like In Concert Tonight.
Or even have hair. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're one of the lucky few.
Yeah, What was you saying?
Just to have this career. So it's, you know, you're very, very fortunate. But I guess that's down to the songwriting and the music that you're making. But there are times, aren't there, when it's quite fallow.
Of course, yeah. I mean, over the course of a lifetime, you're always going to have that. And
do you have any theories as to why sometimes it works?
No, I don't. No idea. I think it's a state of mind, really. I think it depends what kind of state of mind I'm in at the time, and if I'm in a good place. Normally come up with good stuff. I think really. I don't really always buy that. You have to be in a dark place to make great music. You know, sometimes that's worked for people, but I don't think necessarily it always works.
Do you think sometimes, like with trends that are going on in music, that sometimes you fit in? Like right now, your music is kind of just fits in with what's happening in the musical landscape.
It fits in with me.
That's all right then. Alex on Facebook, a question about Let Me In, a song that you did for the Ollie Murs new album, Never Been Better. So he just wants to know how that collaboration came about.
I met Ollie at a gig at the Albert Hall, and I knew that he'd done a cover of one of my tunes of Broken Stones for like a radio session, which was a nice version as well. And I just said, I'll write a song for you.
You volunteered it?
Yeah. I said I could write a proper grown-up song for him, and that, which he did, you know. It was good fun, and it's a good song as well.
Yeah. What were you doing at the Ollie Murs concert?
It wasn't his concert, it was Paolo Nutini, and it was for the TCT, like maybe last year or
Teenage Cancer Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ollie was there. Josh on email, musically, do you think in the UK that we're lacking an emergence of talented young bands and musicians because of things like XFactor, the obsession with the big talent shows?
What was the first part of the question?
What do you think? Yeah. Is it affecting musical talent that's coming through, young bands?
Well, I think it's partly that. There's also so many bands getting back together again. It's kind of hard for young bands to get a look in, really, I think. There's so much nostalgia. I think XFactor and all that stuff was just one part of it, really. You know, no one's taking chances, and I mean, the record labels aren't taking chances, or there's just not the same sort of money around to, it seems anyway, to sign bands. But the whole thing's changed. The whole music business has changed, really.
And how's that affected you and your career?
Well, I don't sell as many records, but
nobody does.
But it hasn't really affected me too much. I think it's much harder for younger bands. I really wouldn't like to be starting off now, you know.
So when you started in your career,
I mean, it's tough. It's always a tough business, isn't it? But it's much, much tougher now. And I've said this many times, but we had the chance when we started off to make 3 albums before we got it right, and we had any kind of success. And would you still have that chance now? You know, I doubt it, really. I don't even know if we'd have got signed, really. So...
Well, you had one or two good tunes, really. I think you would have been all right somehow.
Maybe. But anyway, we wouldn't have got to the 3rd album, do you know what I mean? We had at least a chance to develop, really. And I don't think there's any of that anymore. There's not that kind of... maybe apart from some of the smaller indie labels, but just to nurture a band or an artist and let them develop, you know.
Would you have liked to have worked in a record label, a record company?
Thanks.
No?
No.
Would you like to go on XFactor? Would you be a judge?
No, of course not. Any more than I want to be knighted or any other crap, really. Of course not.
Do you watch them? Do you watch these programmes?
Well, my daughter went through a phase when she watched it every Saturday night, so you kind of end up watching it. Same thing I do with like EastEnders, really. You know, they're not my favourite programmes, but other people are watching them. Yeah. So
it's on the telly, you watch it?
I've seen it, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Tim and Ryan on text, if you could duet with anyone from any era, who would it be and why?
Wow. Well, probably... For a male artist, probably Joe Simon, and for a female artist, Mavis Staples. Both vocalists would be way beyond my means, but you know, that's what I would like to
catch on to their coattails.
Maybe, yeah.
Andy on email, if you could pick your own supergroup, I probably should have told you about this in advance. Who would it be?
Tonight.
This is your band. This is the supergroup who you'll see tonight.
There's no one else I'd rather play with, and it's fine with me.
So you've got old friends on stage with you tonight?
Yeah. Well, even, I mean, Steve Craddock's been playing with me now for, I don't know, over 20 years anyway, a long time. And then, but we've all together, we've all been playing for at least 8 years or something like that.
What makes a gig exciting when you step out on stage? If you have done so many shows together, are there things that make a gig special?
No, I have no idea what that is. I wish I did know. But
Does it happen, though?
Yeah, but it's just something in the air, you know, and I couldn't really explain it beyond that because I've seen some gigs where we're all fired up, the band's fired up, and it just hasn't happened. From the word go, it just doesn't seem it's going to happen and doesn't work out. You just can't tell. I don't know. If you knew that, you'd make it happen every night.
Yeah. And you're doing big festivals this coming summer?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about those?
Yeah, it'd be good, yeah. It depends on the weather, doesn't it? Outdoor shows all depend on the weather for me.
Yeah. Do you do wellies? Do you do
Well, I've had to sometimes at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
It's obviously not ideal, but...
What's your boot of choice?
I had these big sort of glitter ones on. They were sort of thigh length.
Yeah.
With platform soles.
You should do that this year.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Darren on email, there were many big band breakups that ended acrimoniously in the 80s. Who would you most like to see reform and play again? And then he says you can say the Jam or the Style Council. That ain't going to happen, Darren.
What does he mean from the 80s?
I think from time, in existence. I don't know. You sounded earlier on that you don't approve of bands and nostalgia bands reforming.
I just don't care. I'm not a nostalgic person, and I have seen some bands that have got back together and I thought they were amazing, and I've seen an awful lot of rubbish as well.
Who are the bands that you have enjoyed?
The Zombies. Then? I saw the Zombies before one of the players died in the last few years. But they're the original lineup, and they did the whole of Odyssey and Oracle in sequence, and that was pretty amazing to see that. But otherwise, it doesn't interest me,
No. Yeah.
Because you can't recapture any of those things, for me anyway, you can't. And they're just nice memories, and that's kind of enough. I leave it there and then create new memories now,
It must be a nightmare for you if the desperation or the desire that people have for you to perform your back catalogue or to talk about the past for you when it's so long ago.
Yeah.
Is it something that drives you mad? Or do you respect and appreciate it?
No, well, I think, obviously it's great that people love them old songs, and I loved a lot of them as well. But I've no desire to keep on playing them forevermore, and I like what I do now. I like my new songs.
But you wouldn't even do that for the fans, the people who come to watch you?
Well, no, because, then you enter into showbiz and cabaret, don't you? If you're just going to do things that are going to please people. I never got into this business just to please people. I was out to please myself first.
Steve on email, over the years you must have played hundreds of venues. Where are your favourite places? Where's your favourite place to do a gig?
Probably Barrowlands in Glasgow.
Okay, why?
Just because it's so mad in there and so...
It's vast, isn't it?
No, not at all, no. It's like an old sort of sprung floor dance hall. Complete tip, but it's got an amazing atmosphere, and I guess like any gig, the fans sort of make it, the audience makes it. And but they're pretty lively. And
looking back over the career, are there certain shows that you've done that you remember? Yeah, you do. So highlights, like personal highlights, when you've been on stage and you've just thought, this is what I'm doing this for. This is just so special.
It was about, the last time I had it was 3 weeks ago on the last show we played before, on the last show of the European tour.
And for what reason?
It's just amazing.
Great night.
Everything come into focus and life made sense.
Andy again says, what do you think the 18-year-old Paul Weller would have thought of his 57-year-old self? I thought you were 56.
Well, I'm 57 soon. What would you think? Well, he probably wouldn't approve because the 18-year-old Paul Weller didn't like anyone over 25, really. So that would have been a mark against me. But I don't know.
Would he have been impressed that you were still going and still making music?
The age thing would have been a problem, So I don't know if I could have got around that, really. If I could have not been so narrow-minded, I probably would have liked some of the music. Mm. But it's a dumb question anyway. Everyone always says, what do you think the 18-year-old, what?
Irrelevant.
Everyone changes, and hopefully you change. I wouldn't like to be the same person forever, which would be so boring, wouldn't it? So it doesn't really matter what the 18-year-olds would think of me, or any more than what I think of the 18-year-old. It's a course of a lifetime.
Graham on Twitter, what motivates you to get up every day and do what you do, seemingly effortlessly?
Children mainly, and school runs.
You do the school runs?
When I can, yeah.
Okay. And you've got 7 children, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, and ranging from?
3.5 to 27.
That's a lot of kids. I read you did an interview over the weekend, which was lovely. You talked a lot about your children, what they're up to, and are they happy when you talk about them? They don't care?
As long as I say nice things, yeah.
Yeah, but you were saying very much how it's what life is all about. Your children is the thing that life is all about. Because you don't drink anymore. You kind of live a fairly healthy lifestyle because you want to be around for them.
Oh, I would hope so, yeah. I hope I've got a few more years left of me, yeah.
Of course. But that's the thing that just makes you get up in the morning every day.
Of course, yeah. And your responsibilities and your loved ones. But,
do you have big do you gather people around your family table a lot? Do you have big family gatherings?
Well, we don't often because everyone's off doing the older ones are off doing their own thing. One of my daughters lives in America and goes to college there, so she comes over whenever she can. But every now and again, I get them all in the same room, and that's really lovely. Yeah.
Do you do board games? What do you do?
No. Well, maybe, I don't know. No, we just.
We do board games. We love a board game at home. It's great with your kids and your family.
Yeah, but I sometimes
you haven't played Cranium yet, obviously.
To just sit back and just see what I've helped produce. Yeah.
And those personalities.
It makes me absolutely, yeah, and it makes me proud.
Mark on email, your love of music is something you often talk about in interviews, but other than looking after your kids, what else fills your time away from making or listening to music? Obviously not board games. Monty Python, apparently?
Really? Well, I don't know. I don't really have... I'm normally really busy. I'm doing one or the other, really.
And it's always music or family?
Yeah. So I don't get too much sort of dead time.
What telly do you watch?
I sort of tend to try and catch up with things I haven't seen at the time, TV series and...
Is there anything
or films. I just watch films. Or I watch music on YouTube, yeah.
Music on YouTube. Izzy is 16 and she says, if you could swap lives with anybody for one day, who would it be?
Don't know. Ron Jeremy?
Izzy won't know who he is.
No, I'm good. Quite right too as well. I wouldn't swap with anyone, if it's a purely fantasy thing, I don't know. No, I like my life. I'm all right, I think, yeah.
Is it true that you share a tailor with Bradley Wiggins?
He shares one with me, yeah.
Of course, that way round.
Yeah.
Have you had the same tailor for a long time?
No, I think Bradley went to him, to Mark Powell, because he knew I got some stuff made there, I think. Bless him.
And Joanne...
Lycra shorts and that sort of thing.
Yeah, those. Joanne in London on email says, what book are you currently reading?
I'm reading a book about glam rock. I'm reading a book written by a guy who used in a band called the Hollywood Brats.
That's a good
Andrew
name.
Matheson, from the early 70s. Yeah, but I only sort of normally read like a page a day. I'm a very slow reader.
You fall asleep at night when
so
you
I've probably had the same books here for a long time.
If you haven't written a book, have you?
Nah.
No. Would you?
Maybe. I get asked every year to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't feel I'm old enough yet. I think if I get a chance to live into my 60s, maybe I could have a better overview.
Mm. But that's something you would consider you'd like to do?
I consider it. It's not something I'm sort of, really up for doing.
There's a lot of discipline involved.
Yeah, it just takes such a long time. I kind of start it in my head sometimes and I get bored with it,
There's always another record to make.
Well, yeah, I suppose so, yeah. Maybe it'll happen, I don't know.
Okay. It's lovely to talk to you. Thank you. Have a good show tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Hope you enjoyed watching that.